Oh boy, oh boy. Real change is not easy. We are creatures of habit. Even when we don't think so or don't want to believe so, or, oh God, it was so good what they just showed. Let's see if I can try to put words to it. We've all seen a pattern, right, that we didn't see before, right? So, or even a perception or an angle. So say you're fighting with somebody and you're certain you're right and they're certain they're right. And then one day you wake up and you're like, holy shit, they were right. And that does happen. And then you're like, oh shit. So you go to apologize and you'll even say, I'll make a change. It won't happen again, blah, 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 blah. It's good that they saw. It really is wonderful. But even when you see your blind spot, even when you see your pattern, even when you have your eyes opened, even when you can now understand, that doesn't mean you will do better. That doesn't mean you will change. That just means now your ego is going to fight you even more and even louder, right? Like, it's going to make it that much harder because now you're aware of the pattern that you want to stop because you see why it's hurting you. That doesn't mean just because you can see and recognize that it's wrong or hurting you, that you're going to change it. It's not funny, but it's true. It is true. So it's like somebody's a drug addict or somebody's an alcoholic, right? And they see the damage it caused, right? Like they never thought they were addicted to alcohol. They've gone months without drinking alcohol, and then they have a party and they have some alcohol. And when they drink, they drink. But they don't think they're an alcoholic because they can go months without drinking alcohol. Like it's not. And so that's a whole another discussion in itself. What creates the label of an addiction, right? Like, do you have to do it every single day for you to be addicted to it? Right? Like, I mean, let's not go on 12 other conversations. Let's just stick with this one. They end up one time when they do drink, wreak havoc. They cause harm to themselves and to others. They then see that alcohol, well, that's interesting. They always want to blame the alcohol, don't they? Oh, there's bigger problems at bay here, honey. Let me tell you. But sure. We'll blame the alcohol. Let's just do that for this example. So they blame the alcohol and say, oh my God, I see it was the alcohol. No, it wasn't, but I see it was the alcohol that caused all that. I'm never going to drink again. First off, most of the time and most of those scenarios and most of the people who say that, they're lies right to your face. But they have no idea that they're lying right to your face. They really do see. Their eyes really are opened. They really are aware now that is a problem for them. But they see the wrong thing as a problem for them. They see the alcohol as the problem for them. The alcohol just opened you up to that behavior. Don't worry. Even if you're disciplined enough to keep alcohol at bay and never drink alcohol again, the alcohol is not the problem. And so the real problem, that behavior that's the problem, which is manifesting due to another problem underneath, the root cause, that behavior is really hard to change because you're stuck in a perception. And so even if we keep up with this example, even if you ended up giving up alcohol for the rest of your life, don't worry, you're going to find another numbing device. It might even be a healthy numbing device. Maybe you'll get into running or into boxing or into something where you can let the aggression out. But that too will just be an addiction or an avenue or a number of the real issue, because you're not willing to dive that deep and dig that deep and admit that much and rip out all the beliefs that are leading up to all these different behaviors and problems, right? Because stuff is so deeply embedded in us, wired into us, and most people can't rip out because it's never one wire. It's never one belief. And people get exhausted because once they start seeing all of them, it is a lot of work. We could spend the rest of our lives doing that, really, honestly. A lot of people will end up saying, no, it's just these problems, and then go live your life. I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. How happy can you be, right? And so it's up to each person. They have to determine that. But it does feel like torture to get to the pleasure, because most people can't really change. So they'll swear they'll never. It's almost like we're all buying the bullshit, drinking the Kool-Aid. In other words, same scenario. Husband goes ballistic because he really is an alcoholic, but he won't claim that he is. It's just, I just had too much to drink. And so he goes ballistic. Well, I'll never drink again. Well, drink or don't drink. Who fucking cares about that? Remember you went ballistic? Oh, yeah, but it was because of the drink. No, you went fucking ballistic. That's a behavior problem. The alcohol loosened you up enough to bring that shit to the surface. And you just keep trying to suppress it down with the alcohol or blame the alcohol. You're just going to find something else. But that shit isn't addressing the root problem, is it? We buy it, right? Like we're like, oh, you're going to stop drinking alcohol. Okay, great. And again, so it's like, hopefully the person will then realize, even if that person's disciplined enough to never have another drop of alcohol again, nobody's addressed the real problem. Where'd that anger come from? Where did that going ballistic come from? What made you feel that way? What made you think those thoughts? Or did you been thinking those thoughts for so long? And you've been fighting yourself for so long, and you've been having that battle inside for so long, and you haven't let it out, you haven't talked it out, you haven't figured it out, you haven't unhinged all that shit, you haven't rewired yourself. And so that internal battle that goes on all the time, whether you're aware or not aware, started to get louder, and you lost it. It's like the alcohol just loosened you up enough for your real colors to show, right? For that stuff to start seeping out, right? It's almost like being pumped with air, but you're only whatever size you are, and you only stretch so far. And so you can keep pressing on that pump, but eventually you're going to blow. And so this is what's happening to all of us all the time. But we're waiting until we do blow. So it is to the point of emergency. It is to the point of exhaustion. It is to the point of, well, obviously something needs to be done now, but you don't have any energy or any pieces left of you. So you can't even deal with the issue now. You can, but it's going to be so much tremendously more difficult. Yet if we learn to address our emotions and have others around us who also know how to address emotions and also can talk through it and rationalize it and not take everything so personally, but look at every individual as the right to experience and having their perception, and let's talk through it. Can we all talk through it? Or are we all going to get our egos in the ring and battle it out and try to find a winner? Because that's what usually happens. We just need to find a winner. Everybody toss their egos in the ring. We are going to have an ego battle. That's what ends up happening. People aren't able to just sit their egos down and say, what the fuck is going on? And unravel it and figure it out. Right? And, or that can happen, and then halfway through, the person who has sat their ego down gets a trigger, and there you go, jumps right up. I'm in, ding, 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 time for a round, right? So it's, we're a fucking disaster down here. We really are. And so change is not easy. Not real change. Real change is not easy. Some would say it's damn near impossible. This is why you'll hear some people say, shit. They're saying all these different sayings that they're saying them too quickly. A cat doesn't change its stripes. No one ever really changes. Isn't that a saying? I feel like I've heard people say that. But of course they believe it. You know why they believe it? Because they haven't been able to change. And then they keep calling in mirrors of other people who can't change. Because their ego wants to be proven right. Like, it's not that we're weak. It's not that we're not capable. It's that it can't be done. Nobody can. Because if I can't, nobody can. So that's what we're going to commit to. Right? Like, we don't hear our own ego. People say lots of things all the time. People say, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. I can do it, but I can see that you can't because you're certain you can't. And I'm certain you're right. Whatever you really believe and cement in will be true for you. So you can't do that, but I can. I can. I can do anything I put my mind to. But I'm also willing to be wrong. I'm willing to put my ego down. I'm willing to swallow my medicine. I take my medicine 10 pills at a time, and I don't coat them with sugar. Most people can't do that, aren't willing to do that. And at whose detriment, right? Who you hurting? Who are you hurting? Not taking your medicine, not swallowing the hard pills, not putting your pride and ego down. Who are you hurting? Who do you think you look like a big boy to? You look like a bigger baby than anybody out there. Tough guy, my ass. Tough guy, my ass. My angels just said this little girl could come against the toughest guy out there. It's true. I might be a weakling in many things, but my strength in other areas, it's good and bad. As you've seen, it can also be the downfall of me at times, right? But we have to be able to see that about ourselves. And when we see it in real time and make the shift in real time, holy shit. So it's kind of like, what is this? Is this like a PSA? It's like a public service announcement. Don't believe people when they tell you they'll stop doing something or they'll change. That's not what I'm suggesting. It's like we all hope they will. We all want them to. Unfortunately, it's like we hope they will change the behavior or the numbing device that isn't actually addressing the root problem. So that alcoholic promises they won't ever drink again. And so everybody thinks, isn't that wonderful? It's like, no, that's not wonderful. Why are you wanting them to change the thing that brought out the real problem? Maybe we should be telling them to up it, right? I am totally kidding there. It's like, no, but can you hear how ridiculous that is? It's like the alcohol is not the problem. It's just amplifying the problem. It's loosening the grips on the problem so the problem starts to seep out. So if they end up ridding the alcohol, that's not ridding the issue. It's going to bubble up somewhere else or internally and cause other damage. And you'll hear then people say, oh, can you believe it? They finally gave out alcohol, but then they got cancer. Well, what did you think was going to happen? It needed to come out some which way. It's trying to alert and warn you, but you keep stuffing it down or ignoring it, or you've wrangled that behavior down to the ground and wrestled it inside for it to manifest into a disease within. It's like, who are you fighting? But you have to be able to see that, and you have to be able to talk it out and figure it out and release it. But again, it's never just one release. It's never one big wallop out. You might have to get a dozen big boulders out. And every time you give birth to one of those boulders, you might be like, Mother of God, that was it. That was it. That was the massive boulder. I didn't realize it. Only to birth another one. And you're like, motherfucker, I had two massive boulders. Then another one. And you're like, Jiminy fucking crickets, when does it end? Meanwhile, you're breaking all the other little ties along the way too. You don't realize how many of these you have embedded in you. Any of these massive beliefs that are blocking you. We just don't realize until you start doing that work. And again, you'll think, no, that was the problem. Right? Like if you look at my scenario, you could be like, oh, her problem was the abandonment issue. Honey, that's scratching the surface, right? Because with that comes a boatload of other stuff. But then there's other boatloads or big boulders that are placed in there. And so it's like you get rid of the one and you think, oh, that's it. Okay, go on. Go on, little one. Oh, just until you get snagged again and then snarled in another one, right? It's like, instead of, because I've shared with you, I fall prey to that too. Instead of falling prey to that, the idea that you just had to get rid of this one or excavate this big problem and then you'll be free forevermore. Instead, if we can be like, there's a lot of work we need to do, there's a lot of unwiring that needs to happen, and I'm going to live and be happy all along the way. And as stuff arises, I'm going to recognize, oh, I'm acting like an asshole. Let's see what the fuck this problem is, right? It's like if we can have that balance and that awareness that none of us are perfect. We are all fucking up and we'll fuck up forevermore. But if we continually recognize, oh, look, another fuck up. Oh, it's me. Let's talk about my fuck up. Or, oh, look, you're being an asshole. Hey, fuck up. Let's have a seat and talk about it, right? Like if we can start getting to the point where we realize there's no end point, we will continue to fuck up. We will continue to be assholes. We will continue to have problems. But if everybody recognizes it, it's kind of like it makes it not a big deal. Like it's not a big deal, but we make it a big deal until it becomes the emergency and the death of us or death of others. It's like, why do we have to wait until it's that case? We're all fuck ups. There's nobody perfect here. We're all fuck ups, and we all keep fucking up, and we all keep untangling and retangling. Some people never untangle, so that the tangles continue, and it's like they're the ones who spin off into oblivion and have mass problems, right? Like they're the people who go down in history because they're the ones who cause a tremendous amount of damage. And again, they're the ones who were hurt the most, twisted the most, tried to hold it in and suppress it the most. So they're the ones who need the most love, the most attention, the most grace, the most compassion, because it's going to take a while. And unfortunately, I think what also has happened is, take that same scenario. Somebody does give them compassion. They help suppress a little bit. They release a little bit. And they think, see, I solved the problem. I released it. And sure enough, they turn around and blow up again. Of course, you only let out a little bit of air. This is why everybody has to do their own work as well. Because the amount of air that needs to be let out from many people is so massive. No one person can stand there and hold the level down for them. Although somebody needs to hold the lever down for them because they can't do it for themselves at this point. They're past that point. So they do need assistance. But you need a shift. You need several people in on that shift who can never let up on that lever so they can keep releasing that air. But it might take 40 years, right? Like you just don't know. And who's willing to? Who's willing to be in on those shifts? But if we can all start doing better from here moving forward, yeah, there's still going to be a lot of bombs that are still left out there because they're still tangled tight. But moving forward, if everybody realized, oh, we're all fuck-ups. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. We can't control others. Stop trying to. Like, if we can start releasing all these things and talking about it more, and everybody can start getting normalized, they can start normalizing that there is no winner. There is no perfect. There is no right. There is no singular right way. If we can start learning all these things and loving ourselves and accepting these things, it's going to be easier on everybody, including ourselves, because we start normalizing fuck-ups because we keep trying, right? So it's like, oh, okay, let's do it again. Oh, yeah, I fucked up there too. Oh, did you know this about you? Did you see that blind spot? Oh, you're totally passive-aggressive. You stuff that shit down. What were you told? You weren't allowed to show anger? You weren't allowed to express it? Oh, you always expressed it in bad ways because you let it get so big. So then you punched holes in the wall because you weren't allowed to let it out the 45 times before. So the 46th time you punched a hole in the wall, but then you were told you were bad. So you went back to just stuffing and holding it in until the next blow up. Okay. Do you think that's worked for you? No, not at all. Okay. Has it landed you in jail a few times? Yeah, a lot. Oh, okay. Do you think maybe you should make a change? Right? And normally people are like, you're right. I'll drink alcohol again, or I'll go boxing, or I'll go. It's like, no. Maybe we should talk about it. When you're pissed off, maybe you should be like, I'm pissed off. That really pissed me off. What did you mean by that? I meant this. Oh, that's not what I heard. Well, what did you hear? Holy shit. I didn't mean that. I didn't say that. How the fuck did you get there from that? Well, because that's what my dad used to always tell me, or that's what my mom used to say. Why? What happened? Let's talk about it. Right? Like, when we can unravel it or untangle it or have the courage to say, I'm fucking pissed off. Fuck you. Why'd you say that? And somebody else can be brave enough and courageous enough to be like, yo, what are you talking about? What are you pissed off about? What did I say that upset you? What did you think I meant? What? Right? Like, if we can start being brave enough to do all that, to be honest about our feelings, that pissed me off. And somebody else can be honest enough to be like, well, I'm good. I'm glad I meant to piss you off. I knew that button was going to press you. Or, what? I didn't mean to. Why are you pissed off? You're pissed off because I told you I love you? Wait, what? Right? Like, you didn't tell me you loved me. You told me you wanted to cage me up, right? It's like, oh my God. It's like, we need to learn how to communicate better. And we need to learn to have more grace for one another, because people aren't hearing one another. They're just being triggered left, right, and center. They're operating from their fear, their ego. They're less than. They're blowing up. They're hurting themselves. They're hurting others. And then they go back to attempting to be perfect, or they'll claim they're going to change. You're not going to change shit until you learn what the fuck is even going on. Right? So it's like, oh, you're not going to be an alcoholic now, and you think that's real change? That's not real change. That's not real change, because you haven't adjusted the thing that needs to be changed. You just found another outlet. You haven't changed. You're of the believer of things don't actually change. You're just putting on a new mask, finding a new avenue. But you haven't changed. Your center hasn't changed. Your center's the same. So, do you hear this? Is this verbalized? Who knows? Maybe I need to take a communications class. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.